Hello, my friends. Welcome to the energy of the Aries or the Aries eclipse in 2024. I know it's a few days since this eclipse occurred, and you may or may not be aware that Mercury is retrograde, and so this energy can disrupt communications. And in this case, it disrupted my recording earlier this week of what I'm about to share with you now. I was sitting outside thinking the sunlight's really good, and but the crows thought they would have something to say as well. And then the noise that broke the back for me was the person across the river who decided that they would mow their lawns. Just a bit too much noise. So here we are, a few days later. And so in this podcast, we consider what it means to have a new moon in the energy of Aries, and also what the solar eclipse might mean with all the possibilities that have been discussed all over the place. Now, generally with Aries energy, it's about self and self-focus. So it's also about the head and the organs of the head, including our brains. So what does it mean to have a new moon in Aries? So this occurred in the early morning of Tuesday, the 9th of April, here on the east coast of Australia. And it will be somewhere else if you live somewhere else, some other time if you live somewhere else. And at this time, there was a solar eclipse where the moon stands between the Earth and the sun and blocks the sunlight. Now, this path of totality was visible in the US and Canada, parts of Mexico, as the path traveled from southwest to the northeast part of the continent, also incorporating Toronto and Montreal. So for those who live in the US, this occurred on the 8th of April, on Monday. I put a link in the notes for having a look at the NASA website that has some very interesting information on eclipses. And this is the second part of the first eclipse series for 2024. And you may or may not be aware, we had a lunar eclipse on the 23rd of March, and there will be eclipses in October. So many things have been written and said about this particular solar eclipse. The doomsayers are having a field day. Why is it that folk love bad news? In ancient times, when the knowledge of this eclipse cycles was not so widespread, the people in the path of the eclipse were very frightened by the disappearance of the sun and expected bad things to occur. In this age of technology, we have a wide range of ideas to consider, and I prefer to focus on what can be positive and helpful for all our world as we evolve. The eclipse is occurring at a time when solar flares are more frequent and intense than they have been for many years. And this energy can be an ingredient in the energy shifts we are expecting to experience at this time. Being a solar eclipse in Aries, all this fire energy is bound to be felt, especially for those living along the path of the eclipse in the USA and Canada. If you have personal planets like the sun or the moon on 19 degrees Aries, or the eclipse falls on your Aries ascendant, you will definitely experience some sort of shift and change. And I'm happy to help you find out more. Just send me some details. And having an accurate time of birth will help you determine in which sector of your chart and life you will feel the change. But change is certain. And this particular eclipse in Aries is conjunct to the north node of the moon and is ushering in the new now. The north node represents where we are looking to go, to evolve to. And since we are also experiencing the change of a much bigger 25,000 year cycle, where the male energy is reducing and the female energy is moving into prominence, the Aries impulse helps kickstart those changes. So if you know where you need to initiate a change in your life, pay attention to what will be most effective and useful action for you. It's a bit like catching that wave that will bring you strongly into shore. Use this energy wisely. Now, there are those who believe that there is an opportunity now for our bodies to adjust the genetic structure that was tampered with and which left us with 23 chromosomes. What? It is said that thousands of years ago, chromosomes 3 and 4 were spliced together. Now is a time when they can be separated and we can evolve into 24 chromosome bodies. Interesting thought. Better human beings? What if it were true? I don't know. At the time of the eclipse, the prevailing energy allows for electrons to be freed and an opportunity for us to attach to the Earth grid rather than the artificial grid simulation in which we've been living. Oh, Evelyn, really? Now, there are those who claim that we as humanity have been living in a simulation. If you want to know who, I can let you know. You need to message me. We were apparently separated from the true Earth energy and directed into a simulation where our energies could be controlled. Really? You think about it. This is a time when we can reclaim our true identity with the real Earth and not the simulation where we have been manipulated. Not a bad thought. What if it were true? Rory Duff, is a man known for his work as a geobiologist, and he has studied the ley lines and energy centers of our Earth for many years. And he claims that by the end of 2025, the energies will all come into harmony for the next 200 years. Now that's attractive. Imagine how life can be if we had no wars and nasty disagreements. Aries is ruled by Mars, a fire sign, and Aries is a cardinal sign indicating action. Bernadette Brady, in her book, The Eagle and the Lark, describes this eclipse energy as inventions send flashes of genius and are the hallmark of this Saros series. The individual will have intuitive leaps, insights, good ideas, visions, or vivid dreams. This newfound inspiration will pull the person away from his or her social life or relationship, thereby causing a strain in the private life. This is a time when the person needs to be free, if only for a few weeks. Can you relate to some of that? Setting aside the powerful energy of the eclipse, let's consider the energy of a new moon in Aries. It's energy for a fresh start. For me, it's the beginning of the year. And the Martian energy, Aries is ruled by Mars, can really kickstart action in the sector of your life where you want to make a difference. Aries energy is about focus on self. And this is not intended to be selfish in a way that hurts others, but focus on self to improve and empower self to manifest your true energy and soul purpose. Now, if you have struggled to find the courage to do something different, this is a time when your strength is enhanced and you can find that determination to pursue that dream. This is a time to assert yourself and put forward your needs. From a health perspective, Aries rules the head. Time to have your eyes checked by an optometrist. Time for your cataract to be removed and replaced with new lenses. I can recommend that. Time for a facial. That feels good. Time for a new hairdo. I think I could do with one of those. Time to consider your ideas about something. Chiron, the wounded healer, is exactly conjunct the sun and moon in Aries. What in your headspace needs healing? Is it physical features, eyes, ears, nose, teeth, face, or do you need to adjust your mental processes and thoughts? There is powerful healing energy with this eclipse. Use it wisely. Now, Mercury retrograde, let me say a few words about that. When Mercury goes retrograde, it has a reputation for causing delays and disruptions with travel and communications. Last week, I travelled to Melbourne to be with my young grandson on his 5th birthday. The flight I booked was delayed in departing from the Gold Coast. Okay, once in the air, while the flight made good time, when we approached Melbourne, we had to circle several times before landing because the air traffic volume in Melbourne was too much. A journey of maybe 3 hours took 5. Mercury is retrograde until around the 20th of April. Uranus in Taurus. And some observations. I've spoken about Uranus in Taurus before. This planet of innovation and change is transiting Taurus, which governs earth-based energy resources, finance and agriculture, amongst many other matters. And there was an article in the Australian Financial Review on the 26th of March about a Spanish company, Acciona Energy, I'm not sure that the pronunciation is correct, but they were recycling blades from old turbine towers. Now, we know that the turbine blades from these great big wind turbines are not recyclable so far. And this is a negative against the arguments for renewable energy sources. Inverted commas, the problem of aging turbines and how to dispose of them is going to become acute across Europe pretty soon. Many wind farms are nearing the end of their life, inverted commas. Acciona Energia made an arrangement with El Ganso to make upmarket sneakers. Now, while it has been a relatively high-cost project, half of the first production run has been sold, and they're planning a second production run. I like this creativity to address an environmental problem. What do you think? You know, despite the recycling, the base ingredients are still not biodegradable. They're simply being repurposed. That's not necessarily bad. Maybe after a few years of use as sneakers, someone will have found a way to enable the problem ingredients to be reabsorbed into the earth. What do you think? We have thousands of turbine blades globally that will need to be dumped or recycled. We need to do something smart with them. Now, I'm looking for eclipse stories. You know, the energy of this eclipse can manifest for up to 6 months, even 12 months after its occurrence. So what stories can you share about this eclipse energy? A young lady I know has decided to change her surname. No, she's not getting married. She's chosen to adopt her mother's maiden name because she feels more connected to the energy of that family rather than the family name she has so far carried. This young lady has Aries sun and Aries ascendant, so her prevailing energy with the eclipse in particular is all about self. Well, why not change her name? Now, what can we do about change? We can't change what's happening to us and around us, but we do have control over how we respond. Sometimes the best response is just a change in attitude. How are you responding to the changing energies? Remember to breathe fully and deeply. Slowly in and more slowly out. Keep calm and carry on. Enjoy the energy changes brought by this eclipse, and please share your stories with me. Thanks for listening.